Hi folks, with Tacitus Today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the protest marches, the people that attend the protest marches. Do they even know why they're there? Do they understand the issues? Do they have even the slightest clue about what the march is about and what it's supposed to be protesting against? The answer, or the short answer to that, is no. Now, we can go into various levels of activism or representing a cause, if you want to refer to that, or purporting to represent a cause. But I saw a video just I think it was yesterday evening. I was kind of sort of just video surfing in the feed, and it came up with people being interviewed. As this is about one of the marches for Palestine, or whatever they call it, and Palestinian flags everywhere, that sort of stuff. And there was reporters, different reporters from the look of it, that were asking people, well, what are the issues? You're chanting the river to the sea. What river? I don't know. Well, what sea? I don't know. Where is Israel? Where is Gaza? Can you show me on the map? I don't know. What are the issues exactly? It's about oppression and fascism and neo-Nazi, and they just blurt out a few talking point lines that the gin up sort of, the coordinators would have ginned them up. And the coordinators themselves, if you talk to them, by the way, they too don't understand this. They've just been given their talking points to spout, but they don't really understand the issues either. You may come across one or two that has a slightly better understanding, but really they're all paid goons and flunkies. You need to understand the architecture of this. The people that they're going to get out at these marches are senior high school kids, NGO operatives, government employees, uni kids, and that sort of stuff. So there's a very activist, if you like, cadre of overarching activists, if I can use that term. So you've got teachers, so say in high school, for example, you've got, or even in primary school these days, you get teachers in the high school saying, hey kids, did you know there's going to be a climate protest march today or tomorrow or whenever, a climate protest march? I think you should go. It's really important to save the planet and stick it up the man and this sort of stuff. So it's really important you go. The school's going to give you a day off class, so you can quit school for the day, and that's all good with us. And those essays that you're supposed to hand in, I'm just going to give everybody a distinction on the essay. Don't worry about handing it in. The fact that you're attending or claim that you attend this climate protest march or Palestine protest march, but if you attend that, I'll just give you a distinction on your essays. And same with the college is a bit, is a bit more organized than that. NGO agitators and operatives and hustlers and so on, crowd organizers, if you can call them that, NGOs that are passing themselves off as charities, by the way, they are being given free offices or space and offices and parking spaces and all that sort of stuff on university campuses. And they're embedded in student councils. So they've got a sort of a complete octopus tentacle interaction with the university and with the lecturers. Now, the lecturers are all on board, the professors. So they'll tell the kids, did you know that tomorrow there's that climate change or that Palestine protest going on? And now on top of that, there's also a logistical machine that operates. So if at 8 o'clock in the morning you meet, we'll give you your placards and we'll give you your all your stuff, and we'll give you the chants of the day, and it's all printed up, and then we'll bus you into town or to wherever the supposed protest is taking place. Now, this is a moral issue, kids. If you're against Hitler, if you're against the far right, then you'll go along. But if you don't go along, that means you're letting the far right take over and oppress the people. So they gin them up with these sort of vague moral, if you don't go, you're a bad person. If you do go, you're a good person. Hey, you don't need to understand this. You just need to turn up and wave placards and mouth the chant. So so there's quite a large infrastructure about it. Now, how many of these people would actually go if the education system wasn't actively encouraging? If the teacher said, look, there's a well, even if the teacher didn't mention, because most of these kids wouldn't even fucking know, if there's a climate march on or something like that. But so suppose the teacher says, well, look, there's a climate march tomorrow. If any of your kids go, you'll be had up for truancy from the education department. Somebody will come around and visit your parents and ask why you've left school without a reason. Anyone that isn't genuinely sick with a doctor's certificate is going to have, and so on and so on. And by the way, your assignments are in tomorrow, and if you don't hand them in, I will flunk you, and so on. So if that was presented to them, then very few of them would go. Only the hardcore ones would go. The crappy students that they're going to flunk anyway. So really, given that there's much encouragement. The teachers are acting as advisories. They're acting as political commissars, for fuck's sake, as are the college lecturers. So if none of that encouragement and even in college, if you attend 10 protest marches, that's equivalent to your end of year grade being a distinction. So kids don't have to study, don't have to work, don't have to hit the books. They can just go and be activists, street activists, waving placards, and get the same outcome as someone who busted their ass doing the hard work and hitting the books and so on. So if the teachers weren't encouraging that, then very few kids would go. And if there were penalties for it, then a smaller number of kids would go. If there was no infrastructure such as transport, we'll feed you, we'll give you water, we'll give you this sort of thing. It's going to be a hot day, we'll give you sun hats, and it's cold, we'll give you coats, and all these sort of things go on, and they have the effect of encouraging these people to go. Government employees to these, government employees get the day off with pay. With fucking pay to go and do this, as to university staff. So, if they were told, you want to go to that march, that's up to you, but you won't get paid for that day, and it'll go on your employment record, and so on, then they wouldn't go. So it's only massive encouragement, massive support, taxpayer support. Governments turn a blind eye, because they're all globalist controlled, turn a blind eye to this. How many thousands of government employees went along to this? And we're paying them. We're fucking paying them to do this. I mean, you got to be kidding. So those are the infrastructure. This is how they can get so many people out on the street. Nothing grassroots about it at all. This is how they can get these people out on the street. And there's in public service departments, they get advisories going around on which protests and marches are going on where, and inviting, encouraging, in some cases even insisting the government employees, this is local government, regional government, federal government, go along to these protests to give the impression of, you look at the protest, wow, they got 100,000 people turned over that protest. Holy guacamole, that's insane. They must really be passionate about this issue. But no, there's a massive infrastructure encouraging these people just to turn up, to make up the numbers, which gives the illusion, of course, of mass protest. Wow, look at all those people. Oh, I bet you they feel really strongly, but no, they don't. So the next side of it, though, is people not having a clue, which I mentioned earlier. And there's some friends of ours have got. Actually, I don't know if she's in first year uni or final year high school. Anyway, youngish girl. I think she's 17, 18, 19, something like that. And the parents mentioned, she came in when we were there, and hi, and we know her to say hi to, and the father mentioned, she's been to one of these Hamas, Palestine, Middle East protest marches, and so I thought, and she didn't strike me as the sort of person that would go along to something like that. She's got no involvement in it in any way. but her educational institution encouraged her to go. She paid for her own public transport to get there. She doesn't live that far away from where the march was. So she didn't need to be bussed in by the NGOs, buses paid for by the NGOs. But she was grateful that in the area that was sort of designated for the protest, they'd paid for those portable toilet facilities. There were free food and drink dispensing going on, and people distributing it around. Also, people in vans and minibuses following the march down the street, handing out drinks and so on. So and there's standby lawyers in case that the police decide to arrest anybody. Then they've got instant lawyers there to represent them. And if you've ever seen a police officer trying to arrest a citizen just flunking on the street, and a police officer wanting to do something when there's a lawyer standing there, and it's a very different behaviour. And you have things like, the law says, and the grunts on the ground, they don't know, they just do what they're told to do. And then reminding the officer that, if you do this, you will be required to appear in a court of law in front of a judge and explain your actions. Then that freaks them out, and they have to call back to the desk officer to say, well, what do I do now? There's a lawyer there, fuck. And most times they back off and well, I'm warning you, and then they walk away, that sort of thing. So having a lawyer there does make a big difference, and they haven't got high-powered lawyers there. It's not as if they've got $1 million a day high-powered lawyers. They've just got the NGOs supply them with lawyers, maybe final-year law students or lawyers employed by the NGOs at the NGO's expense. By the way, a lot of them getting paid too. So now I was asking her, wow, you went to that. What are the issues? It's about freedom and oppression. And she came out with a line, if the Palestinians aren't free, then none of us are free. Oh, wow. How does that work? How does the freedom of a Palestinian, presumed freedom, what freedoms do they not have? Oh, they're in a prison. Oh, prison. Wow, I didn't know that. How if they're in a prison, how are they able to amass so many weapons, and how are they, where are they getting these rockets and everything from if they're in a prison? I mean, surely that would be I don't really know. Okay, well, where is Palestine? Yeah, look, I don't have to know everything about it to know that whatever's happening there is bad and I should be protesting. Okay, well, where is Israel? And she didn't know anything. I mean, zip, nada, zilch. Didn't know where Gaza was, didn't know where Israel was, didn't understand any of the issues. Just had a few sort of simplistic, low IQ talking points. Now, I wouldn't describe this girl as low IQ, by the way. I mean, she ain't no genius, but she's not a moron. So she was sort of going along because her friends were going along. There was that. The teachers had encouraged her to go along, and it was all with some great moral cause. So what got you to go? Oh, well, teachers, and I was getting all these texts from my friends saying that it was really important to be there because, well, they didn't know, but blah, blah, blah. So she goes, encouraged to do that by the educational institution. The family's well-to-do, so she doesn't need handouts necessarily. She could, her weekly allowance is it's like $100 or something. So she doesn't need to live off the NGOs or sponge off them. But she's got no idea why she's there. Now I've come across a number of marches, things like to do with climate, that sort of stuff, and this big march going past the downtown city hotel I was staying at one place. So I played the dumb thing. Oh, what's happening? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, tell me more. But they can't tell you. They don't know. They don't understand any of this. So they make the chants. They utter these chants, and led by some idiot with a bullhorn who's probably paid by the NGOs to do that. Again, part of the wider infrastructure. Now, but they've got no idea why they're there. They just know that it's vaguely some moral issue, so they're turning up, and they want to show that morally they're good people, and that's why they're there. And it's remarkable how successful the globalists or the NGO machinery, that's very much part of the globalist wider machinery, how successful they've been in equating participation with a moral issue. So it's morally important that you oppose, you support the climate change propaganda. If you don't, you're morally bad. If you do support it, then you're morally good. Facts don't matter. Facts are just facts are for Nazis. Nazis can't do it. So this sort of thing, and it's been hugely successful, far more successful. If someone had told me sort of many years ago that you could have this level of participation and get that amount of people on the street, I would have thought it was possible. I would have thought that people would have looked at the facts and decided that it was nonsense. But they've managed to transcend facts quite successfully and encourage younger people in particular, and government employees too, to transcend facts. But look, if you've got some boring bullshit government fucking job where you sit there thinking how much you hate it and wishing your retirement would come early, and you've got no purpose in life, and you've got nothing, each day is a day of drudgery, you get the opportunity for a day off to wave a placard, do a bit of shouting and screaming, accuse everyone else of being bad, then you probably would take it. You're getting paid, for goodness sakes, so you're not losing anything. So it's I imagine there's a lot of people would go, wow, I can get the fuck out of the office. Hey, I'm into that. So there's probably those things going on also. But I haven't found any march or protest where I've been able to ask people what they're doing, why are they there, what are the issues. Nobody has been able to explain it. Now, you'd think just on a rando basis, I could come across somebody who go, well, the issues are, and they would carefully explain it, and they would be fact-based, and they, clearly they thought it through. And not one have I come across. So that's the quality and the level of them. They're all there for some obscure moral reason, but they don't really know why they're there in terms of the facts of the issues. Now, I remember as a kid, there's the various anti-nuclear movements like ban the bomb and that sort of stuff, the nuclear bomb that is, and it's a bit of a fashion, and there were people with those afro perm hairstyles, white people, and the hippie types. And it was the last vestige, I think, of the hippie movement. And I remember as a kid, and bear in mind, I didn't understand the issues. I was really too young, but I remember asking, why you people are really fired up? What are the issues here? They had no fucking idea. Even back then, this banning the bomb that they had, they just went from, well, if the bomb exists, then Armageddon is next. Therefore, we must ban it. And if we ban the bomb, we ban Armageddon. That type of attitude, and it absurdly simplistic and quite ridiculous. And they're concerned for the human race. I'm concerned for the human race. I remember those phrases getting bandied around. And I'm thinking now, some of the people that I thought, at that age, I thought were adults, they were probably only in their early to mid 20s, but they didn't know what fucking day it was. And they were going around in these marches and getting all fired up and so on. But there wasn't anywhere near the NGO infrastructure and the mass buy-in by public servants and education institutions we see today. So really, you could get a crowd out on the street today, assuming the NGOs and the education authorities and somewhere in support. You get a crowd out on the street for anything. There was one mass protest. I remember that a shark ate a couple of people off on quite a popular swimming beach while lifeguards were there, and nobody saw anything, and it was a crowded thing, and the shark swam right into the middle of a large crowd of people in waist deep water and killed a couple of people. And so there was all sorts of furor, but someone discovered this obscure law that this particular shark was somehow a protected species, so you couldn't kill it or something like that. And just on the basis of that, the government wanted to said or pretended there was a big furor that it had to change the law matters. I mean, the law doesn't matter when they want to do something, but it suddenly matters whether or not this rogue shark is eating people gets killed. So they were going to change the legislation or do something, an amendment or whatever it was. And so there were these mass protests of college kids protesting that the shark might get killed. And I was surprised how many people got on the street. Now, I was in a hotel down the road from this, so I went out thinking, what's going on? I had no idea, what's going on here? And so there were, like at first, because a young guy, sort of, nose piercing and long hair and looking rather bewildered. And, well, why are you here? I was asking what's going on. Why are you here? So I don't know. I got a text and somebody said it was just really important. I came along. So I came along, but I don't really know why I'm here. that was one of the fucking protesters, which about sums up the sort of standard that's around these days. I mean, with Tacitus today, your pushback channel. Thank you for listening.